You train every single day. You're putting in the miles. You're committed. You're consistent. So why isn't your 5K time dropping? What if I told you that training every day is actually the exact reason you're not improving, and that the harder you work without rest, the slower you're actually getting? You're about to discover the counterintuitive truth about why more isn't always better, the science of overtraining that's destroying your progress, and the shocking reality that your rest days might be more important than your training days. The final insight is going to flip everything you thought you knew about training on its head, and it could be the key to finally breaking through your plateau. But before we reveal why daily training is sabotaging your 5K and exactly how to fix it, starting today, I need you to do something right now. Smash that subscribe button and hit the like button, because what you're about to learn is information that separates smart trainers who improve from hard workers who stay stuck. Drop a comment below and tell me honestly, how many days per week are you currently running? 5, 6, 7? I want to know, because your answer will tell me if you're overtraining right now. Welcome to a journey that's going to completely transform how you think about training, rest, and improvement. Prepare to discover why your body needs recovery to actually get faster, the specific signs that you're overtraining and it's killing your progress, and the optimal training frequency and structure that will finally unlock the 5K improvement you've been chasing. This isn't about being lazy or making excuses to skip workouts. This is about understanding the science of adaptation and training smarter instead of just harder. Over the next several minutes, you're going to learn the physiology of recovery, the symptoms of overtraining syndrome, and the exact weekly structure that balances stress and rest for maximum performance gains. Before we dive deep, I need to know where you're watching from. Comment right now with your city or country. I absolutely love connecting with our global running community right here. And if you haven't already subscribed, do it now and turn on notifications so you never miss content that could be the breakthrough you desperately need. Let's uncover why training every day is holding you back. Let's start with the fundamental principle that most runners completely misunderstand. Improvement doesn't happen during training. Improvement happens during recovery. Read that again because it's critical. When you run, you're not getting stronger. You're breaking down. You're creating micro-tears in your muscle fibers. You're depleting energy stores. You're fatiguing your nervous system. You're stressing your cardiovascular system. All of that is necessary. That's the stimulus. That's the signal that tells your body it needs to adapt. But the actual adaptation, the actual getting stronger and faster, that happens in the 24 to 72 hours after the workout when you're resting. During recovery, your body repairs those muscle micro-tears and builds them back stronger than before. It replenishes glycogen stores with a little extra, a process called supercompensation. It strengthens connective tissues like tendons and ligaments. It builds new capillaries to deliver more oxygen. It increases mitochondrial density for better energy production. Every adaptation you want happens during rest, not during work. Here's the problem. If you train hard every single day without adequate recovery, you never give your body the time it needs to complete that adaptation process. You keep piling stress on top of stress, breakdown on top of breakdown. You're constantly in a state of damage and depletion. Your body is trying to repair itself, but before it can finish, you stress it again with another hard run. Over time, this accumulating stress without recovery leads to a state called overtraining. Your performance stagnates or even declines despite increasing effort. You feel chronically fatigued, your resting heart rate elevates, your sleep quality deteriorates, you get sick more frequently because your immune system is suppressed. You lose motivation and enthusiasm for running. Your legs feel heavy and dead. You might develop overuse injuries like tendonitis or stress fractures. This is overtraining syndrome, and it's devastatingly common among dedicated runners who think more is always better. The cruel irony is that the harder you work without rest, the worse your performance becomes. You're literally training yourself to be slower. Elite runners understand this deeply. They train incredibly hard, yes, but they also rest intentionally and strategically. They take complete rest days where they don't run at all. They structure their training so that hard days are followed by easy days or rest days. They listen to their bodies and back off when fatigue accumulates. They prioritize sleep and nutrition to support recovery. This isn't weakness. This is intelligence. This is understanding that training is a stress recovery adaptation cycle, and you can't skip the recovery part and expect adaptation to happen. Think about this for a second. How do you feel most of the time? Are you energized and excited to run? Or are you dragging yourself out the door feeling tired and heavy? Be honest. Comment below and tell me. Do you feel fresh and strong or chronically fatigued? Your answer will reveal whether you're recovering adequately or overtraining. Now let's get specific about what daily training without rest does to your body at a physiological level. When you run hard, you create metabolic waste products in your muscles, things like lactate and hydrogen ions. These need to be cleared out. You also create inflammation as part of the muscle repair process. Acute inflammation is good, it's part of healing. But chronic inflammation from never resting is destructive. It impairs recovery and suppresses your immune system. Your central nervous system also accumulates fatigue. Running is neurologically demanding. Your brain has to coordinate thousands of muscle contractions with precise timing. Do this every day without rest and your nervous system gets fried. You lose coordination, reaction time, and the ability to recruit muscle fibers efficiently. This shows up as feeling sluggish and slow even though you're trying hard. Your endocrine system, the hormones that regulate everything from energy to mood to recovery, gets disrupted with chronic training stress. Cortisol, your primary stress hormone, stays elevated. Testosterone, which is important for muscle repair and building, drops. This hormonal imbalance further impairs recovery and adaptation. You're essentially in a constant state of stress response. Your body thinks it's being chased by a lion every single day. It never gets the signal that it's safe to rest, repair, and build back stronger. Over weeks and months, this chronic stress state leads to burnout, injury, illness, and performance decline. You might be running the same mileage at the same intensity you were months ago, but your times are getting slower. That's overtraining. Your body is breaking down faster than it can repair itself. Here's the solution, and it's simpler than you think, but requires discipline to implement. You need to structure your training with intentional rest and recovery built in. For most runners, training 5 to 6 days per week with 1 to 2 complete rest days is optimal. On your training days, you need variety. Not every day should be hard. In fact, most days should be easy. The 80-20 rule applies here. 80% of your weekly mileage should be at an easy, conversational pace. 20% can be hard intervals, tempo runs, or races. This ensures you're getting the training stimulus you need from the hard 20%, while the easy 80% allows for active recovery and aerobic base building without excessive stress. And those rest days, the days you don't run at all, are when the deepest recovery and adaptation occur. Let me give you a concrete weekly structure that works for 5K improvement without overtraining. Monday, complete rest day, no running. Maybe light stretching or a walk, but nothing strenuous. Tuesday, hard workout. VO2 max intervals like 6x800 meters at 5K pace with recovery jogs. This is your speed stimulus for the week. Wednesday, easy recovery run. 4 to 6 kilometers, a truly easy pace where you can hold a conversation comfortably. This promotes active recovery. Thursday, either complete rest or easy run, depending on how you feel. Listen to your body. If you're feeling fresh, easy run. If you're feeling tired, rest. Friday, tempo run or threshold workout. Maybe 5K at comfortably hard pace or 3x 1600 meters at tempo pace. This is your second quality workout of the week. Saturday, easy run, 5 to 7 kilometers conversational pace. Sunday, long run, 10 to 12 kilometers at easy pace to build aerobic base. This structure gives you 2 hard workouts per week, which is enough stimulus to improve. It gives you 3 to 4 easy runs that promote recovery and build volume without excessive stress. And it gives you 1 to 2 complete rest days for deep recovery. Over 8 to 12 weeks of following this structure consistently, your 5K time will drop significantly because you're balancing stress with adequate recovery. Compare this to what you're probably doing now. Running every day, maybe at similar moderate to hard intensity every day. No rest days, no easy days, just constant grinding. Your body is exhausted. It can't adapt. Your performance stays flat or declines. The fix is not more training. The fix is smarter training with built-in recovery. What are you thinking right now? Is this resonating? Are you starting to see that rest might be what you've been missing? Drop a comment and let me know if this is a light bulb moment for you. I genuinely want to hear if this is clicking because this concept is life-changing for so many runners. Now let's talk about the other critical component of recovery beyond just rest days: sleep. If you're not sleeping 7 to 9 hours per night, you are severely limiting your improvement no matter how well you structure your training. Sleep is when your body releases growth hormone, which is essential for tissue repair and building. Sleep is when your immune system does its most effective work, fighting off illness and inflammation. Sleep is when your brain consolidates learning, including the motor patterns and coordination required for efficient running. Sleep is when glycogen stores are replenished most effectively. Chronic sleep deprivation, which for athletes means less than 7 hours per night, impairs all of these processes. Research shows that athletes who sleep less than 7 hours per night have significantly higher injury rates, slower recovery, worse performance, and increased risk of overtraining compared to those who sleep 8 to 9 hours. If you're training every day and also skimping on sleep, you're compounding the problem. You're stressing your body with daily training and then not giving it the sleep it needs to recover. This is a recipe for disaster. Your 5K time won't improve. It might get worse. You might get injured. You might get sick. The fix is non-negotiable. Prioritize sleep. Treat it like a training session. Schedule it. Protect it. Go to bed at a consistent time. Create a sleep-friendly environment that's dark, cool, and quiet. Limit screen time before bed. Avoid caffeine in the afternoon and evening. Do whatever it takes to get 8 hours of sleep per night. This alone, combined with adding rest days to your training, could unlock massive improvements in your 5K time without changing anything else about your training. Nutrition is the third pillar of recovery that you can't ignore. Your body needs fuel to repair and build. If you're training every day but not eating enough, especially not enough protein and carbohydrates, you're limiting your recovery capacity. Protein is essential for repairing and building muscle tissue. You should be consuming about 1.2 to 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight daily if you're training regularly. Carbohydrates replenish glycogen stores that fuel your runs. You need adequate carbs, especially around your hard workouts and long runs. If you're restricting calories or carbs while training hard every day, you're actively sabotaging your recovery and performance. Your body doesn't have the resources to repair itself. Eat enough. Eat quality whole foods. Prioritize protein and carbs. Stay hydrated. This supports recovery and allows your training to produce results instead of just accumulating fatigue. Let's address a common fear that many runners have about taking rest days. You're afraid that if you rest, you'll lose fitness. You think you need to train every single day to maintain your current level or improve. This is completely backward. Rest doesn't cause detraining. In fact, strategic rest enhances training. When you rest, your body supercompensates. It builds back stronger than before. You come back to your next workout fresher, more motivated, and able to perform at a higher level. The workouts you do when you're well rested are higher quality and produce better adaptations than workouts you grind through when you're exhausted. Elite athletes regularly take rest days, even complete rest weeks called taper weeks before major races. They're not afraid of losing fitness. They understand that rest allows them to perform at their peak. You should adopt the same mindset. Rest is not the enemy. Chronic fatigue and overtraining are the enemies. Rest is your ally. There's also something called the deload week that you should be incorporating every 3 to 4 weeks. A deload week is where you intentionally reduce your training volume by 40 to 50% for 1 week to allow for deeper recovery. You still run, but you do less. Maybe you drop from 6 days to 4 days that week. Maybe you cut your long run in half. The purpose is to shed accumulated fatigue and allow your body to fully adapt to the previous weeks of training. After a deload week, you come back feeling refreshed and often see a noticeable jump in performance. Your body had time to catch up on recovery. This is strategic rest, taken to a slightly larger scale than daily rest days. And it's incredibly effective for preventing overtraining and ensuring continued improvement. Now think about this carefully. What's more valuable? Training 7 days a week and staying stuck at the same 5K time for months or years? Or training 5 to 6 days a week with strategic rest and seeing your 5K time drop every few weeks? The answer is obvious when you put it that way. But so many runners choose the first option because they confuse effort with effectiveness. They think suffering more equals better results. It doesn't. Smart training equals better results. Suffering without recovery equals stagnation or decline. Be smart. Train hard when you train, but rest intentionally and guilt-free. Comment below and commit right now to taking at least one complete rest day per week. Make it public. Hold yourself accountable. Tell me you're going to prioritize recovery starting this week. Let me share a real example that illustrates this perfectly. I coached a runner who was stuck at a 24-minute 5K for over a year. He was running every single day, sometimes twice a day. Lots of volume, lots of effort. But his times weren't budging. He came to me frustrated and exhausted. First thing I did was cut his training frequency from 7 days per week to 5 days per week. I gave him 2 complete rest days. He was terrified he'd get slower. I also structured his 5 training days so that 2 were hard workouts and 3 were easy runs. Previously, he'd been running hard or moderate, every day. Within 6 weeks of this new structure, his 5K time dropped to 22:30. That's a 90-second improvement from training less but recovering more. His body finally had the time it needed to adapt to the training stress. He felt energized instead of exhausted. His motivation came back. He was running faster with less total training. That's the power of recovery. Let's talk about how to recognize if you're currently in an overtrained state. Here are the symptoms. 1. Elevated resting heart rate. If your normal resting heart rate is 55 beats per minute and it's been sitting at 65 for the past few weeks, that's a red flag. 2. Persistent muscle soreness and heaviness. If your legs never feel fresh, even after easy days, you're not recovering. 3. Declining performance despite maintained or increased training. If you're working as hard as ever but your times are getting slower, that's overtraining. 4. Frequent illnesses. If you're catching every cold that goes around, your immune system is suppressed from chronic stress. 5. Mood disturbances. Irritability, anxiety, depression, loss of motivation. These are all signs your nervous system is fried. 6. Disrupted sleep. If you're exhausted but can't sleep well, that's a classic overtraining symptom. 7. Loss of appetite or digestive issues. Overtraining disrupts your gut and metabolism. If you recognize 3 or more of these symptoms in yourself, you're overtrained. You need to take action immediately. The fix for overtraining is not complicated, but it requires discipline and patience. First, take a complete break from running. At least 3 to 7 days of no running at all. This sounds scary, but it's necessary. Your body needs a chance to reset. Second, when you return to running, start with very easy, short runs. Don't try to jump back into your previous volume and intensity. Build back gradually over 2 to 3 weeks. Third, implement the structured training I described earlier with rest. Days and easy days built in. Fourth, prioritize sleep, nutrition, and stress management. Address all aspects of recovery. Fifth, be patient. It might take several weeks to fully recover from an overtrained state. But if you commit to recovery, you will bounce back stronger than before. Your 5K time will start improving once your body is actually able to adapt to training instead of just surviving it. Here's a powerful mindset shift that will help you embrace rest. Training doesn't make you faster. Training plus recovery makes you faster. Training is just one half of the equation. Recovery is the other half. Both are equally important. If you're great at training but terrible at recovery, you'll never reach your potential. If you become great at both training and recovery, you'll unlock performance you never thought possible. Elite athletes are not just great trainers, they're great recoverers. They take recovery as seriously as their workouts. They know that the adaptation happens during rest. They respect the process. You need to adopt this mindset. Stop glorifying suffering and grinding. Start glorifying smart, balanced training that includes intentional rest. That's what separates good runners from great runners. One final point before we wrap up. If you've been training every day for a long time and you suddenly start taking rest days, the first week or 2 might feel weird. You might feel guilty or anxious on rest days. You might feel like you're losing fitness. This is normal. It's psychological, not physiological. Push through it. Trust the process. After 2 to 3 weeks of structured training with rest days, you'll start to feel the benefits. You'll feel fresher. Your workouts will feel stronger. Your times will start dropping. The guilt will disappear because you'll see that rest works. Give it time. Don't bail after 1 week because it feels uncomfortable. Commit to at least 4 weeks of proper training structure with rest days, and you'll be a believer. Here's what I need from you before you go. First, leave a comment telling me how many days per week you're currently running and whether you think you might be overtrained based on the symptoms I described. Awareness is the first step to change. Second, if this video has opened your eyes to the critical importance of recovery and given you a concrete plan to train smarter instead of just harder, smash that like button so more overtrained runners can discover this life-changing information. Third, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications because I'm constantly creating content that will make you a smarter, healthier, faster runner. And finally, I've got another video ready for you that breaks down the perfect recovery routine, including sleep optimization, nutrition strategies, and active recovery techniques. Click the video on your screen right now and complete your recovery education. You now know why training every day is sabotaging your 5K improvement. You know the science of recovery and adaptation. You know the exact training structure that works. The only question is, will you implement it? Will you have the discipline to rest even though it feels counterintuitive? I believe you will. Now get out there, train smart, rest intentionally, and watch your 5K time finally start dropping. I'll see you on the roads.